The call for a holistic approach to theological education, as pointed out in our previous statement, echoes the call here for curricula that are contextualized to address issues facing the continent. Similarly, the suggestion that African scholars be more directly involved in writing courses and study materials affirms the need for a more contextual approach to theological education in Africa. United Methodist theological training in Africa must reflect the intellectual contribution of Africans themselves. That's what is being said. For us to pack up all of our used books or even new books and send them is not going to cut it. That may not be a most delicate way to put it, but I'm trying to get through this. While it would come as no surprise to any of the bishops, the consultation did illustrate the vast disparity in access to computer technology and the internet among the theological institutions represented. For example, the Reverend Yatta Young of Liberia reported that her theological institution does not possess a single computer. A single computer. Internet access is severely limited and available for browsing only. There is also a critical need to provide at least a baseline of computer technology in each United Methodist theological institution, computers that are reliable, along with reliable internet access. There is a dire need to improve, this is what the consultation is saying, a dire need to improve the library holdings. In many cases, the holdings are meager and severely dated. Acquisitions of books and other resources often happen on an ad hoc, piecemeal basis, depending on individual arrangements with outside benefactors, such as US and European annual conferences. Secondly, many libraries lack sufficient internet capability, preventing libraries from providing access to online databases, whether they be free or fee-based. They said also that we need to retain trained faculty in United Methodist theological schools. The 4 bullets above on this slide indicate concrete steps to take in preventing faculty attrition and sustaining delivery of quality theological education in the long term. They said we need to share faculty expertise among United Methodist institutions through exchange programs and visiting professorships. There was strong affirmation that schools collaborate more effectively in sharing the theological expertise of their respective faculties in order to address very concrete needs. For example, a school in need of a trained New Testament scholar may enter into an exchange arrangement with another school that has a faculty member with the requisite training and scholarship. In this way, United Methodist institutions help one another out in addressing gaps and shortages of faculty and expertise. One suggestion also was for a visiting scholarship arrangement. That is, the receiving school would pay the professor's lodging, meals, and a modest honorarium. In exchange, the professor would donate course materials and books to the library. Regarding students, participants suggested that theological institutions and annual conferences be more deliberate in exploring local and indigenous sources of funding and scholarship support in order to underwrite students' theological education. I believe, Bishop Yemba, if I'm correct, please correct me, but right now it is the fundamental assumption that if a theologue goes off to seminary, that she or he is going to have to be the recipient of a full scholarship. That is the assumption, and therefore it really does limit in many ways being able to provide resources in higher education and theological education to many persons who are gifted. Now, this reflects a desire for deeper partnership between school and conference, and schools and communities in financing the education for students from the local area, the church, or even the country. They said, the consultation that we need to develop sustainable endowments. 2 points stood out here. Without long-term endowments, theological institutions will not survive, let alone flourish. And secondly, they would explore multiple sources of funding, both local and international. If there's nothing else that is remembered, please remember this: the issue of sustainability was a constant and urgent theme throughout this consultation. And there was not a single US-based person or Europe-based person contributing to that conversation. It was initiated and sustained by those who are on the ground endeavoring to provide theological education for both lay and clergy on the continent.